Hey guys, Zaman
And Christina
from Our Rich Journey. On today's video, we have something that is going to help you improve your finances. Now, we are calling this a financial checkup, but this is also going to be one of the funnest checkups you've ever done because we are going to be talking about your finances and we're going to have some fun doing it.
So we created a 14 question quiz, and I know quiz doesn't necessarily sound fun to people, but I promise you this is a very fun quiz where we ask you 14 different financial questions and you answer either yes or no to them, and then at the end of the quiz we are going to give you an assessment of where you stand in terms of your financial health. And we really want to present it to you so you can find out where you are with your finances, but also give you some tips for areas that you may need to improve. So before we get started with this financial health assessment, we want to take a brief moment to talk about a new program that we have created for 2022. It is designed to help you take action with saving, making, and investing money on your financial independence retire early journey. This program is called 365 Days to FIRE. We designed it where we are giving you daily tasks 365 days of the year that focus on ways to make, save, and invest money. We also give you a FIRE plan for you to work through, and then we review the FIRE plan for you and give you our feedback. We have live Q&As each month. We have email support, we have meetups, and we have so much more. So if you are interested in being a part of this program, the deadline to enroll is actually at the end of this week. You have until December 31st, 2021 in order to sign up for this program. So if you are interested in enrolling, make sure you check out the link in the description below, or you can go to ourrichjourney.com. So let's get started with this 14-point quiz. We have 14 different questions. For every question that you can answer yes to, you get a point. So at the end of everything, we are going to go over point scores and we're going to tell you what your score means. So let's get started with the first question.
So the first question is, do you believe you can achieve your financial goals? So much of your financial independence journey has to deal with mindset. And so it's so important that you actually believe that you can achieve the financial goals that you have set forth. The second question, is your spouse or partner on the same page as you when it comes to finances? If you guys are not on the same page, it's not the end of the day, but it is so important that you guys are both working on the same goals and moving in the same direction. If you're not, you could be running in place or actually losing ground. So to that question, are you guys on the same page?
Question number 3, have you calculated your FIRE number? Your FIRE number is the amount of money that you need in your investment account in order to retire early. So you go through all of your expected annual expenses in retirement, you multiply that by 25, and that is your FIRE number. Now, if you've already calculated your FIRE number, you know that equation. And if you haven't, that is something that you should do in the future. But question number 3, that is your question. Have you calculated your FIRE number?
Question number 4, do you track your expenses every month and compare your spending to the budget that you've set forth? Now, hopefully you're tracking, and number 2, you have a budget. And this leads us to question number 5. Do you know what % of your budget goes towards savings and investing? We've talked about this before when we talked about how important it is to know your savings rate. So to this question, do you know how much money you are putting towards your investments and your savings accounts every single month? And what percentage of your income is that?
Question number 6, side hustles. Are you currently working on a side hustle that generates additional income beyond your regular 9-to-5 job?
Now, it is so important to have more than just one source of income. And so we think the side hustle is important. And it doesn't have to be a side hustle that is intensive, taking up a lot of your time. Some side hustles can be a digital download that you have created or something else that is a passive source of income. But it needs to be something else beyond your 9-to-5. Number 7, Are you maxing out all of your tax advantage accounts? So if you have a 401k at work, have you maxed that out for the year, or are you on track to maxing that out? If you are investing in a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA, are you maxing those out? Those are the types of tax advantage accounts we are talking about, and those are the type that you should be prioritizing when it comes to investing. Question number 8. Have you asked for a raise at your job in the past 18 months? This is so important because it's awesome to make money outside of your 9 to 5 through your side hustle, but also at your job, you should be trying to make more money. And so asking for a raise, if they're not giving you one, and we're not talking about the cost of living adjustments, we're talking about an increase in your salary based off of your performance or your worth, the value that you are bringing to your company or your organization. That should be something that should be routinely rewarded with raises.
Question number 9, do you have an investment plan? We talk about an investment plan a lot on our channel because we think it is so important. If you are making investments, you have to have a plan before you begin making those investments. You need to know what accounts you're putting them in. You need to know about your tax advantaged accounts. You need to know the order of your accounts, and more specifically, what you're going to be investing in each of those accounts. So if you have an investment plan, that is great. You get a point for this question. If not, you really should be thinking about how to develop and structure one that works with how you want to grow your wealth.
Question number 10. Have you paid off your high interest debt? Now, how we define high interest debt is that we look at the return of the stock market, and the average return of the stock market has been about 8 to 10%. So if you have debt that is greater than 8 to 10%, we are defining that as high interest debt. And you should be throwing extra money at paying off that debt as soon as possible.
Question number 11, do you work on improving your financial literacy at least once a week? So we're talking about, are you reading books on finances? Are you listening to podcasts? Are you checking out our YouTube video every single Sunday when we post it at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time? Just a little plug for us. But for everyone out there, you should be working on improving your financial literacy, and it should not be sporadic. You should continuously be doing it at least once a week.
Question number 12. Do you have less than 6 months worth of living expenses in cash in a savings account? Now, we bring this up because if you have more than 6 months worth of living expenses in cash, that might be too much money just to be having in cash because of inflation and the low return you get in a savings account. That money is losing value every single day. And so it's so important that you should have an emergency fund, but an emergency fund that is greater than 6 months worth of living expenses, that is something that you should really be thinking about, because in this environment of high inflation and low interest rates, having that kind of money in cash sitting in a bank account is a bad thing to do.
Question number 13. Can you explain the difference between an index fund and an ETF and the pros and cons of investing in the two? Now, we talk about this on our channel. We think it's actually really important because a lot of people, when they start off on their financial journey, they tend to look at individual stocks. So if you are in that phase where you're only looking at individual stocks and you don't know about index funds or ETFs, or you can't explain them properly, that's something that you really want to work on.
And I bet when you discover the power of investing in index funds and ETFs over individual stocks, you might find that investing in index funds and ETFs is a better strategy when it comes to achieving financial independence. We certainly think it is, and we talk in detail about why it is in a lot of our YouTube videos and in, of course, our investing course. So if you do not know the ins and outs and the power of index funds, you should definitely do your research.
And the last question, number 14, do you do an annual assessment of your finances? Here, we always talk about getting 1% better, but you have to have a baseline. You have to understand where you're starting and where you're heading. If you do an annual assessment, you can find out areas that you need to improve or areas that you're already doing well. But the idea is, once you do that, you can focus on getting 1% better every single year. So those are the 14 questions. Now let's talk about the scoring. So if you got 14, you are excellent. You are financially healthy. Let's talk about 12 to 13 points. That is really a great job. You are ahead of the curve, but you may have a couple of areas that, if you can improve, could really set you ahead on your FIRE journey. Now let's talk about 10 to 11 points. Now that's not bad. There's always room for improvement, and you may just need these next couple of months to get focused on your finances. You can definitely do it. Now 8 to 9. You have at least 5 areas of improvement that you should be working on. So go back and look at the questions that you missed and begin systematically finding out what you need to do to answer yes on those questions the next time, and then begin taking action. So let's talk about if you scored 7 or lower. So first of all, do not beat yourself up. Now, the purpose of this quiz is really to show you where you're at and where you need to improve. So if you scored 7 or lower, now you have identified areas that you can improve on. And that's what we're all about, always continuously improving your financial literacy. If you were perfect, there'd be nothing left to work on. So just stay positive about the process and start looking at the things that you don't understand or things that you may need help on, and begin knocking them off so that next time you take this quiz, you can answer yes.
So we hope that you guys have liked our financial assessment. Do us a huge favor and share this with your friends and family, and ask them to also do the quiz, because you may find that you guys can help one another improve your scores. And so if you guys have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and join the journey.